Voting representation, sweet honey in the rock here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. Voters in 35 states will be casting ballot for more than the next president of this country. They will also be deciding the fate of 153 ballot initiatives on subjects ranging from gay marriage to renewable energy, affirmative action, abortion, the prison system, stem cell research, children's health insurance, and the safety of the farm animal. It's an important issue in California, where 12 propositions will appear on the state ballot Tuesday. Proposition 5, or the Nonviolent Offender Rehabilitation Act, would require the state of California to expand and increase funding and oversight for individualized treatment and rehabilitation programs for nonviolent drug offenders and parolees, and reduce criminal consequences of nonviolent drug offenses. A wide coalition of supporters say it'll help reduce overcrowding in the state's burgeoning prison population, the largest in the country. They also argue it could change the way the war on drugs has been waged domestically by providing treatment rather than jail for nonviolent drug offenses. But the proposition has a number of opponents, including 5 California governors, the California Prison Guards Union, and the National Drug Control Policy Director. They argue it's expensive, sets up an unwieldy and unaccountable bureaucracy, and have called it a, quote, drug dealer's bill of rights. Today we hosted debate on California's Proposition 5. Ethan Nadelmann is the founder and executive director of the Drug Policy Alliance and Drug Policy Alliance Network, the leading organizations in the U.S. promoting alternatives to the war on drugs. He supports Prop 5 and joins me here in our Firehouse studio in New York. We're joined on the telephone by California Attorney General and former Oakland Mayor Jerry Brown, served as governor of California from '74 to '82, and ran for the Democratic nomination in the 1992 presidential election, defeating Bill Clinton in 5 states. Jerry Brown is opposed to Proposition 5. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Ethan Nadelmann, let's begin with you. Why do you support it?
Well, this is a model of how to be dealing with the problems of prison overcrowding and with the drug problem in the United States. California prisons population has virtually tripled in recent decades. They spent $5 billion on the prison system in 2000. Now it's $10 billion. It's eating up 10% of the state budget. They have the highest recidivism rate in the country among state prison systems. People who have drug problems just keep being cycled more and more back into the system. So basically, with Prop 5, what you have is a model for how to deal with this. It's based upon all of the recommendations of former governors' independent commissions. It's one that would reduce the California prison population by roughly 20,000 nonviolent offenders in a way that would simultaneously reduce crime and recidivism. It would effectively shift $1 billion a year from prison and parole over to the treatment and rehabilitation side. It would save taxpayers over $2 billion because new prisons would not need to be built, and it would hold people accountable. Not just the people getting caught up because of drug problems, it would also hold the drug court judges and the rest of the criminal justice system accountable. One thing that California has lacked horribly over the last few decades is any notion of accountability on the part of people in the prison industrial complex. That's what we're seeing right now.
California Attorney General Jerry Brown, why do you oppose it?
Well, I couldn't differ more from what he's saying. First of all, it's profoundly undemocratic to change any of its hundreds of provisions scattered over thousands, if not tens of thousands of pages, requires a 4/5 majority. That is completely against the notion of majoritarian democracy. Number 2, it is so abstruse, so esoteric, that I would bet you there aren't 5 people in the world that even understand it. It's extremely difficult to gather. It's like one of these complicated mortgage instruments that just by their complexity, they act as a deception on the user. There's no way the voters, by being asked to vote yes or no, can really respond intelligently to such a grab bag of provisions. Number 3, there's no proof that this is going to reduce the prison population. In California, more than 60% of the prisoners leave prison each year. That's 120,000 people. The problem is they come back, and they come back because they don't have the education, they don't have the training, they don't have the job skills, and they don't have the supervision while they're in the community. And what should have been done was to present to the people a simple measure that could be understood, and that could include more of the indeterminate concurrent sentence, which was abolished, and I have to say I did that back in the 70s. When I was governor, the recidivism rate in the first few years before we changed that law was under 30%. Now it is up to 60 to 70%. We had far fewer people in prison, and the prison budgets were lower. Nadelmann and his friends created Prop 36. The prisons have risen in spite of that. I believe empowering the drug courts, giving them more money, giving more room for training, more room for supervision and reentry programs. We have a $7 billion program ready to go under an AB 900 program where the state hasn't been able to spend it. And finally, the complexity of these two bureaucracies, one having 21 voting members, one having 23, is going to bog down. It's full of providers who get the money that one of the bureaucracies mandates and defines. This thing is a gigantic mess that is not going to reduce prison populations. It's going to not help people. Drug addiction is a very powerful force, and you need accountability, short stays in jail particularly, that the drug courts provide. Nadelmann and his friends wouldn't work with the drug courts. They have a hostility to it. Their real agenda is to legalize drugs. I live in a drug-infested neighborhood with halfway houses on my block. I've been there for 5 years. I can tell you it's a horror out in the streets when you see these people. You've got to provide some coercion along with help and treatment and education.
Well, let me just put it this way. Jerry Brown is bought and paid for by the prison industrial complex. Shut up, Jerry. There's a $1 million, Jerry, stop talking, Jerry.
One at a time, but it has to be a civilized discussion.
Right now, Jerry, you want to be governor. Jerry, you want to be governor one day. There's a $1 million ad campaign paid for by the prison guards. Excuse me? Jerry, why don't you stop talking and let me talk? Jerry, there's a one...
Attorney General Jerry Brown, we're going to give you equal time to respond.
Okay. There's now a $1 million paid ad campaign on TV in the Bay Area featuring Jerry Brown, the guy who's supposed to be in charge of the system. This guy stood up with 3 Republican governors and the former governor, Gray Davis, who took millions of dollars from the prison guards union to denounce this initiative. He says this thing is anti-democratic. It's anti-democratic when the prosecutors and the prison guards union put millions of dollars into the system to buy the politicians going in. This initiative right here is based upon the best of scientific evidence. And when you look at what's here, well, this thing was not put on the ballot. Jerry, I allowed you to talk. Give me the politeness to allow me to talk as well, okay? We did not move forward, me and my colleagues in California, without having first gone to talk to people in Sacramento. And state legislators said to us, you know, we normally don't like the ballot initiative process, but the system in Sacramento is busted and broken. The only way to get sensible, responsible sentencing reform in the state is through the ballot initiative process. When this thing was drafted, we pulled in all of the best experts around the state. If the drug court judges are opposed to this thing, it's solely because of ideology, because they do not want to be held accountable. They do not want to be held accountable. So this is about helping and when Jerry Brown says that this is not going to reduce costs or this is not going to reduce the California's prison population, he's not acknowledging the results not of us and of the advocates, but of the California Legislative Analyst's Office, an independent body that has concluded that this is the only initiative on the ballot that will save taxpayers money, and this will responsibly reduce the prison population. This is basically about giving people with drug problems a second chance. It has got accountability up the gazoo for people who are involved in any sorts of other crimes. Go to the Huffington Post and read the blogs that are done by Dan Abramson and Dave Fratello, both co-authors of Prop 5, who Jerry Brown did not bother even to talk to, notwithstanding our efforts to try to talk with him. Then you can read Jerry Brown's blog and read the rejoinder to it that will be up later today, and you'll see that one sentence after another in his blog is full of mistakes, full of inaccuracies, full of exaggerations. He is doing the worst possible thing for the people of California.
California Attorney General Jerry Brown.